We are really just going to switch things up. July, how do you feel about Ruby Storm?
So, I've been really excited for Ruby Storm. Like, this is actually the deck that almost is going to get me back into Modern. I saw Rao when it got spoiled, and
So, y'all were gonna tell me, that, huh? You're gonna see how long you can go on that. you worked this all out last night, huh? That's what happened. I was like, what? Did he say modern?
We are really here because we're a CEDH channel. Duh. Hey guys, welcome back to the Idiot Brewing Podcast. To the Idiot Brewing Company Podcast. I'm TK, that's Chris, that's July, and we are here today to brew another CEDH deck. This time we are actually excited for Assassin's Creed, the next installment in kind of the Universes Beyond sets that Magic has been doing lately. A lot of people don't really like the Fortnitification of Magic as a whole, but I love it. I don't know how you guys feel. I definitely can't wait for me to be able to bang Cloud Strife and Ezio Auditore all together. It's gonna be great.
oh, thank God you finished that sentence.
I mean, I was still talking, right? You know what I mean? Like, I wasn't just gonna end it like that. Frankly, you know.
Yep.
And that's where I'll leave it.
No, but no, I mean, I do kind of the Universes Beyond is fun, except for only when it's my Universes Beyond. When you guys get the ones you like, nope.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, write your letter to Wizards, I guess.
Yeah.
I guess real quick, we can go through and say what our dream Universes Beyond set would be, real quick, before we get into today's commander.
Yeah, TK. I mean, what's yours?
Oh, Tekken, 100%. You give me. They've done Street Fighter. If you could do Tekken, and
my brain short circuited. I thought they had already done Tekken. I forgot that it was Street Fighter.
If you do Tekken, you can bring back Partner because you can make it related to Tekken Tag Tournament.
Oh yeah.
God, you give me. Oh my God, the Mishimas with Partner, I would go insane, dude. Like yesterday, yeah. That's probably that, and like Dragon Ball, I think would be huge. Yeah.
I think mine would just be Toei animation, just like bring in all of my fun little anime characters in here. Like, let me play a Naruto Uzumaki commander deck. I would lose my ever loving mind.
Absolutely.
Fair. I mean, I kind of already done mine because mine would absolutely be the FromSoft games, Dark Souls, Elden Ring, all those ones. I've already got my Lord of the Rings, so just give me the other half of my soul, and we're good.
That feels like, out of the ones that we've mentioned, the most realistic, honestly, to happen.
Yeah. I to kind of sort of date where we're at. Some of the Duskmourn like Japanese arts came out, and I saw them, and I was like, oh, if this is indicative of anything that they do as like a Universes Beyond cross-in, this would be the time I think that they do, like, at the very least, like a Bloodborne Universes Beyond.
I can see that. A lot of people wanting Bloodborne to be announced, like the sequel. This would be the perfect time to really like build some hype for it.
Man, don't make me cry.
100%. We decided that we are going to build one of the commanders from the set and kind of see how we can CDH it up. And out of all of the commanders, we just picked Ezio Auditore de Frenzy. And that makes sense because if you know anything about Assassin's Creed, that was the main man for what, like 3-4 of those games? So Ezio Auditore de Firenze is their full name. I'm not just saying that as like an Assassin's Creed fan. That is what is written on the card.
I might have to save you from our Italian fan base. It is Firenze. Like, you pronounce the E like an E, not a Inze.
Oh, okay.
Firenze.
Yeah.
What you've been saying is Firenze, it's Firenze.
Ah, okay, cool. Yeah. Sure.
I got you covered.
Yeah, I appreciate that.
for all the relevance it is.
You know? All right, I'm not even gonna try to say
in
that.
terms of mechanics.
Yeah. So Ezio is one in black, legendary creature, human assassin, which makes sense. There's a lot of assassins in this set, so yeah, definitely feel free to look around for those if that's a creature type that you've been excited for. It has menace, and then assassin spells you cast have free running, black. Free running is a new mechanic that is debuting in this set. And it pretty much says that you may cast a spell for its free running cost if you dealt combat damage to a player this turn with an assassin or commander. So obviously, Ezio, is both an assassin and a commander in this list. So when you swing, you can then cast your assassins for double black, which I mean, that's pretty cool. Whenever Ezio deals combat damage to a player, you may pay Wooburg, so all 5 colors, if that player has 10 or less life, and when you do, that player loses the game. Cool. That's sick.
End sentence, period.
Yeah, that's cool. And Ezio is a 3/2. So a lot of cool things here. I think we all agreed, though, that the coolest thing about this commander is the fact that it is a Wooburg commander in color identity for 2 mana. That is huge for the format. As you can see, Wooburg definitely is a good color combination to be in. You get all of the best cards, all the card qualities. We're thinking of commanders like Sisay, like Najeela, like Kenrith. And there's a lot of nice lists that fit into those. And so being able to have your commander online probably from turn 1, considering how fast CEDH can be with like a land and any kind of rock, is really nice. So yeah. Thoughts on Ezio as a commander?
All right, so here we've got Ubisoft's big old pile of money. This is a 5-color good stuff deck. This deck has jammed all of the best cards that CEDH has to offer in all of the colors that we are playing. That is the entire reason I decided I'm going to play Ezio. Our main win con for this deck here is going to be Adnaz. This deck has a very low CMC. I'm talking about average CMC in this deck is 1. My goal is to get Adnaz fired off relatively as early as possible, as safely as possible, draw a majority of my deck, and go for either a Thassa's Oracle Demonic Consultation win or Underworld Breach piles. The typical includes you're going to see, we've got around 10 tutors, all of the good black tutors, a decent counter magic suite, which is wonderful, and a variety of card draw effects. We are running Rhystic Studies, we are running Mystic Remora, Esper Sentinel, Archivist of Ogma. We're trying to draw cards as fast as possible and win as fast as possible before anybody else. Some notable includes for this deck, I do have a Lurrus of the Dream Den. This way I can kind of have some resiliency. My goal is to be going fast. If I get stopped, I want to have a way to make sure I can kind of pivot and go right back into another win on the next go round. So this deck is built around being able to, 1, have consistent card quality throughout the majority of the game, but 2, come back after I've been shut out. So we do have Neoform. Neoform is basically a second copy of Lurrus, whether that is sacrificing our commander, Ezio, or a variety of our other 2-drops that we don't need around anymore. We have Archivist of Ogma, Dothi Voidwalker, Dockside, stuff like that. All of these are going to turn right into Lurrus, allow me to recast that Underworld Breach, say it gets blown out and I don't have a counterspell backup for it. It basically allows me that reset, go again mentality. Another really cool thing about Neoform is I have a bunch of 1-drops as well. Neoform is going to be turning into Docksides. It's going to be turning into Lotho if I need a Lotho. Orcish Bowmaster if I need to remove something off of the board. It can be a Grand Abolisher. If they let this resolve on one of my 1-drops, I get to silence out the game and go on from there. Another one that Neoform does get me, it's on that silence vein, is Ranger Captain of Eos. All my 2-drops can turn into a silence effect, be as clear cut for the rest of the game as it can be with not allowing my opponents to interact. Other than that, everything in this list is fairly staple. We've got our rocks, we've got our counters, we've got our win cons. Let's jam a win, you know? So that is my deck. What you think?
Love it. Like I said, I looked at it briefly. I wasn't able to go into as much detail because it was right before recording. But when I did look, what I saw rather was standard good Wooberg stuff. Like there's nothing in here that I'm like, oh wow, like why are you playing that? Like everything fits and it makes a really good pile. When you have all 5 colors and all of the good card quality of all 5 colors, it's hard to make a bad deck, and you are a really great brewer, so it makes sense that this is a good deck.
Yeah, I mean, in the wise words of Adam Driver in a movie that I don't think I've ever seen, good soup. Yeah, so I think the biggest appeal of this deck is that not only is it is definitely like what I would suspect to be from the 5 color good stuff pile. Like we're not breaking new ground here, but there's a lot of unique ways that I think that I saw in your list, and I'm sure you probably picked up on as well, Chris, to make it where like the color combinations we usually don't have access to in being 5 color. We Neoform into Lurrus to get back the Dockside I just sacrificed seems really good, for example.
Yeah, that's sick.
And stuff like that. Like this is a prime example of like if it ain't broke, don't fix it. And if it already works, it's gonna work better because it's that 5 color pile. And I think you did a great job of just exemplifying, like I said, that wholesome, honest to God 5 color good stuff.
Thank you.
Awesome. Yeah. Yay, Chris. Yay.
Yay. Yay. Clap for me.
Okay, awesome. So I guess we go on to mine now.
Yeah.
Awesome. So as so amazingly brought up to you by July, we already have a 2 mana 5 color commander that is kind of running around the format in the form of Jensen Carthalion. And Jensen is used primarily with a companion, which if you guys are not aware of the companion mechanic, it's a mechanic that was introduced in Ikoria, right? Lair of Behemoths, which is totally busted. Should never come back. Absolutely. But while it's here, we're gonna use the mess out of it.
Use it.
If you don't know what companion is, it's essentially being able to have a card in the sideboard or companion zone as it is now. And you can pay 3 mana at a sorcery speed during your turn to bring it from that zone into your hand from outside of the game. So it does not count as your 100 cards because it is not a part of your deck. It is something that is outside of your deck that is revealed at the beginning of the game. And it also has a building restriction. So as long as your deck is within that restriction, you can have it within the companion zone. So it's essentially an extra card, but the price is in Commander, with it being a singleton 100 format. That's really hard to do sometimes to meet those building restrictions. However, the cool thing about Ezio is that it is 2 mana, and the same thing as Jensen being 2 mana for 5 colors. There is a companion that actually works really well with that. It happens to be one of the most busted legal ones that's there. And I am talking about Lurrus of the Dream Den. Lurrus of the Dream Den, I will explain real quick because it is kind of like our partner commander here because it's our companion. It's 1 Orzhov, legendary creature Cat Nightmare, with a companion restriction that each permanent card in your starting deck has to be mana value 2 or less. Ouch. I can't play Rhystic Study. That sucks. But it also has lifelink. Me. It has lifelink, and it also says, once during each of your turns, you may cast a permanent spell with mana value 2 or less from your graveyard. Does not give it escape, doesn't give it unearth, doesn't give it any of the other crazy shenanigans. It just says, do it. That's sick. And so also doing that in 5 color is amazing because you get access to things like intuition. You get access to things like Underworld Breach, which Lurrus just ups the value of so fast. So this is essentially an Ezio Lurrus list that is leaning towards using Lurrus ability to be able to have a lot more range in your combos. Of course, with the restriction that we cannot play any permanent card that is more than 2 on the menu value. That includes our commander. At TOS2, we're good. So how are we winning? Well, we're still winning through Thassa's Oracle and Underworld Breach combos. Why? Because that doesn't require me to do anything with 2 CMC more permanents. Yay! Thank God. I'm still winning the game. But there are a couple of neat tricks that you do in this version that you have to kind of get around with the building restriction. First thing, as I've already mentioned, you cannot play Rhystic Study. So in our enchantments, we are running Steel Enchantment, which is a 2 CMC permanent, blue, gain control of enchanted enchantment. I can't play Rhystic Study, so I'm going to take yours, and that works for me.
That is such a villain behavior.
What can I say? I like being mean. But one of the best cards in the deck, as we're moving towards win cons and win piles, I would say, for this deck, because there's a lot of ways that you can kind of assemble things, is through Intuition. Intuition is instant. It's 2 and a blue. Says search your library for any 3 cards, reveal them to target opponent. He or she chooses one of them and then put that card into hand and the rest into your graveyard. So you have 2 main Intuition piles in this deck that'll set you up for the win. The first and the most obvious one is going to be Savine's Reclamation, Underworld Breach, and Lineside Diamond. The reason how that works is no matter what your opponent does, you will either have Underworld Breach in hand with Lineside Diamond in the graveyard to be able to use and immediately start going to crack it for 3 blue, get Intuition, go back and get Brain Freeze and assemble your whole combo, or Underworld Breach will be in the yard and you have Savine's Rec at some point to be able to get it back. So regardless, whether it's 2 mana or 5 mana, you will have the entire combo with just this one card. So that's pretty sick. But we do that multiple times because we are also running Chthonian Nightmare as a way to win the game. Chthonian Nightmare, if you have not been tapped into Modern Horizons 3, is a really nice card. It is essentially a recurring nightmare sort of retrain, which is really cool. Enchantment, 1 and a black. Says whenever it enters the battlefield, you get 3 energy counters, pay X energy, sacrifice a creature, return it to its hand, and then return target creature card with mana value X from the graveyard to the battlefield. So the Intuition pile here is you're going to go Chthonian Nightmare, Dockside Extortionist, and Orcish Bowmasters, and no matter what they give you, you're going to be able to, or Savine's Rec, I apologize, to be able to get back the enchantment and then start the loop with Dockside and a creature in the graveyard, make infinite mana, and then you can kill the table using Orcish Bowmasters that way. Now, I've gotten those out of the way. My favorite, and I'm taking this out of a page of Jensen Lurrus's book, the other deck that this takes heavy inspiration out of, because they are essentially kind of trying to do the same thing, is Hermit Druid, Priest of Felrites, and Thassa's Oracle.
What?
Yeah.
Hold on.
Yeah. Yeah, so Jensen Lurrus plays this Intuition pile, and it's really cool. Priest of Felrites is a card that I probably do have to explain now. It is white and a black, Orzhov creature, human, warlock. You tap it, pay 3 life, sacrifice it, and then return target creature card from your graveyard to the battlefield. You can only activate it as a sorcery, so it has to be on your turn. But it also has Unearth, which is its cost is 3 white and a black. So by doing this, you can essentially assure yourself to be able to either get Hermit Druid onto the board, which we are not running any basics because it's a 5 color. Gross. So why would I do that? To be able to dump your entire graveyard, your entire deck into the graveyard, and then be able to unearth Priest of Felrites and be able to use Priest of Felrites to get Thassa's Oracle onto the board and win that way. You could also do shenanigans with Hermit Druid itself and Underworld Breach. So there's a lot of different ways to move through. And if all else fails, you can just do Ad Nauseam because we are on Ad Nauseam. Bring to Light is here as well. It's another neat card that Jensen Lurrus likes to play. It's also 5 mana, and it says search your library for a creature, instant, or sorcery card with converted mana cost less than or equal to the number of colors that you use to cast it. exile it, and then shuffle your library. You may cast it without playing its mana cost. So the cool thing about Bring to Light is you have Wooburg, you tap Wooburg, you cast this, and then great, you go ahead and get Adnos. You can cast Adnos for free. It's also versatile. You can use it for anything else, but that's really what we're using it. Outside of that, it's standard. We are playing pretty much all of the good Wooburg stuff. Aether Vial is a neat shout because all of our creatures are either 1 or 2 CMC due to the restriction of Lurrus. Aether Vial is on 2. We just get to put creatures in play, and there's nothing you can do about it because it's an activated ability. So unless you have a stifle effect, it's already going in, and that's pretty neat. Culling Ritual is pretty cool. Nice little board wipe to get us there. Yeah. That is the list in a nutshell.
I like it, TK. I like it a lot.
Yeah, this is this is really cool. One of the cards that I see out of here that I really do like is that Aether Vial. I played Modern in a time where 5-color humans was one of the most prevalent decks in the format, and the fact that Aether Vial can tap to activate at any time, it does not have to be sorcery speed, is what brought that deck to the level that it was. So the fact that you're playing a bunch of 2-drops, Aether Vial is going to go to 2, and you have the ability to say on your end step, activate Aether Vial, put in a Granabalser. Couldn't stop that because you can't counter it.
Good.
You didn't know it was going to come.
I'm not going to lie.
Untap to my turn. Thank you. Appreciate it. Kind of go off on your combo. That line in my head is what I thought of immediately. And I was like, dang, that's cool. I should have played Aether Vial.
It's super fun. And the way that I was thinking about it too is also if it's on 2 and let's say you have Thoracle in hand and you tried to go for another win attempt, maybe like through the Brain Freeze loop or something like that, and that doesn't work, you could just Aether Vial Thoracle on somebody else's turn and win.
Oh my gosh, I love that.
Sick.
I love that so much.
Aether Vial's a dumb card. No one should ever play it, ever.
Terrified of Aether Vial on 2 forever for the rest of my life. Another really cool thing I really do like about this deck is you did get to run Lurrus. You can see in my deck, I wanted to run Lurrus, but I was scared of that building restriction. And it really shows your strength as a builder over mine, especially with your knowledge on the Jensen Lurrus deck. You made it work. You made it work. It looks like really good stuff. It looks like everything my deck wants to do, but just a little bit better. So I applaud you to that. This list looks really spicy.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
I did also just want to say, Bring to Light, I saw in your list, I was like, oh yeah, because my brain didn't think of Jensen. I don't know if you guys remember for the brief period of time that Cody was running around.
Oh yeah,
where you would tap Cody, add Wooburg, use Bring to Light, and then do a dumb Adnos thing. But I love that card. It's so cool, and I wish I thought of it for this list because that is a very useful card. And it's in 5-color. It is phenomenal.
Yeah. Pretty much unlocks just about everything in the deck because the highest CMC I think is the 5-drop. So yeah, awesome.
Alrighty, I guess that leaves it to me.
Yeah.
So TK, you were on the right track with companions. I think you were on the right track with which companion? But I'd like to give you a run for your money. Because Ezio does fulfill the requirements of one of the other companions from Ikoria, and that is Gigantha the Wellspring. Gigantha is a 5-drop legendary elemental elk. The requirement is that no card in your starting deck has more than one of the same mana symbol in its mana cost. But as a trade-off, it's a 5/5 body and it can tap to add Wooburg, but the mana can't be spent to pay generic cost, which I don't care because, 1, it's a pretty neat mana dork, but 2, of the secondary win line, which I will get to in just a moment, I want to talk about the primary win line, which is this is a breach deck because we cannot play Thassa's Oracle. Thassa's Oracle has that double blue pip, not legally allowed. I went to jail when I tried. It was not great. So instead, we're kind of focusing on the Underworld Breach strategy. We're just kind of doing things that advance that game plan. There's a very I don't want to get too deep into it because it's hard to really elaborate too deep on what's different about mine. But what I do want to talk about in the goofiness of this deck is the fact that I know you guys said that you didn't want to do anything with Ezio, but I kind of do. And the reason I do is because there is a commander that I have been playing in casual that works really cutely with Ezio's second ability, and that is Ramses Assassin Lord. Ramses Assassin Lord is a 4-drop. He's 2 in Demir. He's a 4/4 with Death Touch. Other assassins each control get ++1. But most importantly, whenever a player loses the game, if they were attacked this turn by an assassin you controlled, you win the game. So this is a little bit of a Rube Goldberg machine, and it is very trepidatious. But the game plan here is we are going to try and get people down to low enough life totals or let them do it on their own with it, and then swing in with Ezio and with either the use of Aether Vial, which I also have in this list, or through any of our flash enablers. We're going to flash in Ramses with the Ezio combat damage trigger on the stack, which, because the Ezio combat trigger is on the stack, it makes Ramses only cost the double black for free running. So it's not necessarily a 4-drop that you have to flash in, it's just the 2-drop. And then we pay the activation on Ezio, most likely with Giganta, because Giganta, again, just gives us that Wooburg. And when the player loses from Ezio's ability, Ramses says, "Oh, that's crazy. So do the rest of you." And that's the deck. Like, I have nothing else to say because this is one of the goofiest CDH builds that I could think of. And when I saw Ezio, I was like, because I plan on turning my casual Ramses deck into Ezio. So I was like, I want to turn this around. I want to put Ramses in here. I want to do something goofy. And I wanted to try to the best of my ability to use Ezio for more than just him being a 2-drop 5-color commander. So we are using Ezio as a kind of a multi-tool here. He's useful for our Diabolic Intent. He's useful for turning on our counter magic in terms of deflecting SWAT and Fierce Guardianship. The trickiest part of this deck is not only do we not get Thoracle, but we also don't get a lot of our important counter magic. So this is more removal heavy than it is control heavy, because we can't play either of the forces, we can't play either the Mindbreak Trap. So we're playing cards like Abrupt Decay, Assassin's Trophy, those cards that, even though they are differentially colored intensive, with the use of Giganta, which we can most likely get out fairly easily, those difference in colors don't necessarily matter as much. So the other cards I want to talk about, a cool tech that I picked up from Chris when we talked about Alesha last time was Thieves' Tools. It makes Ezio unblockable. Just says it on the card. Same thing in our land package. We've got Access Tunnel, which is Baby's first Rogue's Passage. It makes, again, target creature with power 3 or less can't be blocked this turn, so it makes Ezio unblockable. And in the same fashion, Honest to God, Rogue's Passage. So really just planning to get Ezio in there for that hit. Not necessarily consistently. We don't need Ezio to be hitting for combat all the time. It's just that in the wise words of the Ramses card itself, why butcher an army when you can slash a single throat for the same result? So all I need to do is get in for that one hit, that one key moment, and then the game is over. And we got Underworld Breach stuff too, so that's it. But yeah, what do you guys think?
This is okay. So
you can say it's bad. I know it's bad.
As someone who has strayed away from casual, right? I have played against your Ramses deck before I saw the light of that was CEDH, and I remember being like, you know what? What a silly way to lose the game and for you to win the game. That is silly. Bring that into the CDH sphere is super silly, and I'm not gonna lie. It looks very fun to play. That is a for sure thing. The moment you get that combo off, you will never not tell that story when talking about your greatest wins in a CDH game. So I will give you that. This is definitely one of the most memorable one of the most memorable win cons that you could put in a CDH deck and try to jam.
Hey, I figured the biggest appeal that I think Jensen has is that he does do things when you cast your multicolored spells. He gives you that scry effect, and I was like, I don't want Ezio to be totally useless.
Right.
So, I definitely applaud you for for giving it the honest crack. It's funny. It is funny as heck. That is for sure.
Yeah, if I lose to Ramses in a CDH game in 2024, what do I do? If it's LobbyCon, I laugh and I will tell that story forever. Very much like what Chris
I was
said.
gonna say, you got to be careful what you say. We're on video, and we're gonna hold you to
Yeah.
it, whatever you say happens.
But if it happens in a tournament, I think I just play Yu-Gi-Oh for the rest of my life. Honestly, like, all right, well,
this is my Yu-Gi-Oh CDH deck. If I manage to assemble
all the pieces of Exodia.
all the pieces of Exodia.
Yeah, but I echo what Chris says. This looks super fun. Gigantha is one of my favorite cards. So anytime that you can play Gigantha, that seems like it's a really fun way. And I think you found a way to make the rest of Ezio actually matter outside of the fact that it is one Black Woober commander, which I think is really cool. And I think that's something a lot of people are going to resonate with. So, as always, amazing job, July. Awesome. You guys want to go ahead and pick a list and get ready for the gauntlet?
Let's do it.
Yeah,
All right.
let's do it. All right, everyone. I think everyone was happy with their lists. I know I was definitely happy with mine, but unfortunately, that's not what we picked. So instead, we decided we're going to build Ruby Storm for Modern.
Stop.
Ruby.
No, we ended up picking Ruby. Hey, one day, TK, one day you get I.
Y'all want to branch off, make your own channel to do a Modern coverage? You go right ahead. I'll be here playing CDH until I'm in 6 feet in the grave.
No, but for real, we did end up going with TK's Lurrus companion list. We thought that was the spiciest version of the list in terms of what it's doing and what we're trying to accomplish. We got ahead and just kind of preemptively did our changes. So what we went ahead and did is that we cut Worldly Tutor and went ahead and put in Eladamri's Call. And with Eladamri's Call, putting it right into our hand, putting any important creature card into our hand as opposed to on top, just removes that level of disconnect between us getting the card to putting the card into play. We also went ahead and cut Windfall and turned that into Mnemonic Betrayal. Again, just another value card that is going to be very efficient for the deck. And lastly, a card that I suggested because we were already doing shenanigans with Steel Enchantment, I suggested we go ahead and put in Copy Artifact. That's the card. Oh my god, I almost said Steel Artifact.
Kind of.
No, we went ahead and put Copy Artifact in because it's another 2-drop that does similar things to Steel Enchantment, but importantly, the way that the card that we're trying to copy, obviously more often than not, is going to be the One Ring. Copy Artifact does see itself as a casted card when it becomes One Ring in the ETB, so it's another way to get that value off of the full effects of One Ring without having One Ring. And what we did is we cut Jeweled Lotus from the deck in favor of that, because as much as Ezio is a very powerful commander in terms of having all of our engines online, it is not detrimental to us insofar as having the Jeweled Lotus that we need Ezio on the field. We're more than likely to be able to get him out pretty easily just from our other mana rocks and landfalls. So went ahead and cut that, and like I said, we went ahead and added Eladamri's Call, Mnemonic Betrayal, and Copy Artifact. Was there anything you guys wanted to talk about with the list before we signed off for the day?
Not much. I just want to give a special shout out to anybody who's playing Jensen Lurrus. I'm not going to lie to you guys. This was fairly easy to build in that realm just because I have played that deck before, and a lot of the work that has been done on that deck has allowed me to be able to utilize that for Ezio. So shout out to anybody who's playing Jensen Lurrus. I feel like Ezio Lurrus is probably going to be in the same. If there's a Discord already for Jensen Lurrus, they should probably just go ahead and make some channels for Ezio, because I can see them.
I wouldn't be surprised if they're already on that discussion. I bet they're talking about it because I think we all kind of saw it in though I know you guys especially were talking about doing Lurrus things when we were first talking about building Ezio.
Yeah, absolutely. 5 color Lurrus is really hard to beat. It's a really powerful effect, and if you can make a way to use it, yeah, might as well.
Yeah, Chris, what are you thinking?
Yeah, I don't have anything special to add. It's minus the fact that TK is a good deck builder, good CDH player. So I'm excited to see this list in play. I know he's going to do a wonderful job piloting it. Other than that, nothing much to add.
Thank you so much. Yeah.
Well, we've at least proved that TK is a good deck builder, but can he prove as a good deck player in the gauntlet?
No.
You have all the confidence in the world there, my friend.
Absolutely not. But we'll try. Next week's episode, we'll be bringing Ezio Lurrus into the gauntlet against all of those great tested lists that are probably better than this one. But we'll see if it works. But yeah, absolutely. Till next time, thank you guys so much for joining us again on the Idiot Brewing Company. I've been TK. That's been Chris. That's been July. We love you so much. Thank you guys for tuning in. Please like, subscribe, and share, and follow for more. Absolutely. Till next time. Oh, wait. Before we
What's
go,
happening?
everybody in the comments, please wish a happy birthday to fellow Idiot July.
You.
Absolutely. Yeah, you thought I was going to forget, did you? Yeah. July celebrated their birthday this week. And so just give a amazing shout out and down in the comments below to July.
Thank you so much. I love all of you guys, and as much as I rib on you, I am very appreciative for all of you guys. You have made my 24 years of life worth it.
Absolutely. That's been us. Thank you guys so much. We love you. Take care. Peace.
Bye.